Taupō, love Taupō, lived there in the 90s actually, late 80s. And only for about 3 years started a new radio station and cried all the way to Auckland when I left. And it's been named one of the most welcoming communities in the world, not just in New Zealand, on Earth. This is thanks to Booking.com's latest Traveller Review Awards, based on more than, wait for it, 360 million reviews around the world. So quite a broad base was asked. So that's phenomenal. Taupo was the only New Zealand and Australasian destination to make the list of the top 10 most welcoming cities for 2025, actually, despite being a town. Look, I know it's lovely. You guys know it's lovely. What has Taupo got? Is it welcoming? Well, let's find out. Taupo District Councillor, one of them, she's the fantastic Christine Rankin. Christine, good afternoon. Happy belated New Year.
Good afternoon, and the same to you.
Now, talk me through this. What? Oh, by the way, congratulations. This is fantastic news.
Thank you. It's absolutely huge. I think for some of us it hasn't quite sunk in yet. How on earth did I don't mean how on earth did we win this, but when you look at the competition and the number
in
of
the
people
world
that voted, etc., it's incredible. You know, we have around 1 million visitors a year, although I think that's growing substantially because people pour in here weekend after weekend, and we're an events capital. We're the events capital of New Zealand, I say.
Here we go, really.
So we have tens of thousands of people coming here for the big events that we have, and we have things one after another. So there's always an opportunity, even if you just want to come and relax. We're beautiful.
You are beautiful. Destination Great Lake Taupo General Manager Patrick Dolt, I'm sure you know.
Wonderful man, yes.
Wonderful man, said, I love this quote, there's a bed for every head in Taupo and a warm welcome for everyone. Whether you're here with the crowd or one of our popular big events or looking for some quiet time away from the buzz. So when you're not a city, what's the size to be a city, Christine?
I think it's about 70,000, and we're up to 42 at the moment. We're way ahead of predictions because around COVID, we were not just a destination to visit, and we did get a lot of extra visitors just after COVID. You know, the restrictions were lifted, but the number of people that have moved here in the time, I've been here 10 years, and I think Tauranga is now so big. It used to be the place everyone went. It's not anymore. We are super popular. You know, we're not packed and crowded like some of the other towns that you might compare us with. And I know that Queenstown is a bit bigger, but I got into terrible trouble when I came to Taupō because I said that I couldn't understand, well, what I meant was I couldn't understand why we weren't as successful as Queenstown. You know, people landed at Auckland, they went to Rotorua, and then they went to Queenstown.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe we were missing out. But the locals would have put me in stocks for saying that because they thought I wanted it to look like Queenstown, which I did not. We look stunning all on our own. We don't need to look like anyone else.
Yeah, you don't. And I just cast my mind back to when I was living there, and it was, you know, gosh, late 80s, early 90s. We weren't that welcoming over Christmas, I've got to be honest, because we'd have to line up for the bars and the restaurants and I remember one of my friends, she was born and bred there, she yelled out, go home, you tourists, you visitors, this is our town. And I was like, yeah, go away.
Do you know how sad that actually is? And we do have some locals with views like that, but they have learned to stay home when we're packed. When I came here first, I remember going to the butcher's and it was coming up to some big long weekend and they said, you're not used to this, just get all your supplies in and stay at home, where I love when people come into town. I love the buzz of it, so I'm down in the middle of it. But what the message we keep putting out there is, we would not be the complete district if we didn't have tourism. Because while we're rich, we've got a wealth of resources here, other kinds of resources. tourism actually makes us a complete district because it means we have lawyers and doctors and a hospital that we wouldn't have if we didn't have the numbers coming in here as well as the growth. And I think the other thing that's changed is because we've got so many Aucklanders and Wellingtonians with a whole different view of wanting a buzz, a lot of people are excited now when we have our tourists in town. They know it's going to be bumper to bumper. It's not Auckland usually. We usually can move around as we like, but those weekends are really, really exciting. And remember we stretched to Turangi, which won the most beautiful small town this last year, and we have Mangakino, who hosts big, big events. So they had Hydro Thunder just a little while ago, which was racing boats on their lake, and they had classic car events, and it's become a beautiful little classic town that people just love visiting. It's changed dramatically. So we're much more than Taupō town. Turangi has developed dramatically and is in the middle of things to do. You know, there are just countless things to choose to do if you go to Turangi and to Mangakino. So we're proud of the whole district. Well, I say that is Taupō. And when we had the Ironman World Championships, which was in December, locals were going up to visitors and saying, where do you come from and welcome to Taupō. You know, I had so many comments about how lovely people were in shops and in cafes. Of course they are. They're grateful that people come here and spend money. That's what keeps us alive.
Yeah, yep. Someone has said a city in New Zealand is 20,000, but it used to be. It used to be. And since 1989, a town has needed 50,000 to become a city, so you're not far off it.
Oh, we're not far off. I thought it was a lot more than that. No, how exciting is that?
You're nearly a
city.
Some
people won't think that.
No.
Nearly a city. And it is naturally beautiful. You know, every day you drive down anywhere near that lake, whether it's
just stunning.
You know what it's like. Sometimes the mist on it is quite ethereal. You know, when it's winter, it rises up just above the lake, and it's And then on a day like today where the sun is shining, it is glorious. It's absolutely glorious.
I tell you what, Christine, hubby and I hate to say it, but we're getting to that age where we've discussed kind of where we go to retire.
I'll come to us.
Well, I said, he and my husband said, I said somewhere in the South Island. I'm kind of trying to get him to Central Otago, but it's too cold, he says. So he went, what about, he goes, what about Taupo? I said, I would like that actually. He goes, and you get a bit of snow. You get your cold if you go down the mountain. So it's definitely in the top three.
But I have to say that in Taupō, the house, people know it's cold, although we have a cold winter about every 3 or 4. We'll have a really cold one, and I've been here 10 years. But the houses are made for it. People wear different clothes. You know, you just adjust to it. I love the real seasons, and we have the true 4 seasons in Taupō. That's one of its glories, I think.
It is.
Christine, I didn't want to come here, but I love it.
Didn't you? Kicking and screaming?
No, it was to me, my husband's view of it being gorgeous, and he made me come down here so many times before we decided, and I fell for it. Good. And I'm glad I did.